My name is Leah, and I work in many different aspects of web, including design. Now that we've walked through gathering content for our site and giving our content structure with HTML, let's talk about design. What is web design? Web design is the mood and page structure you give to your website. Let's first talk about setting the mood. Mood relates to the feel you want your site to take on. For example, do you want a site to take on a fun or serious mood? A more technical or natural mood? A safe or adventurous mood? When we brainstormed the mood of our site, we went back to the topic and goal. We mentioned the topic of our site is space. And our goal for the site is to inspire interest in NASA and share women who have impacted space exploration. With that in mind, we came up with these words: technical, clean, light, and friendly. The word technical and light reminded us of our topic, NASA and space. The words clean and friendly spoke to our goal of inspiring interest in NASA and sharing women who have impacted space. Here's how those words translated to the design and mood of our site. Now it's time for you to think about the mood of your website. With your topic and goal in mind, what words would best describe the mood you want your site to take on? So now that you have words to describe the mood of your website, how do you communicate that mood? Color and fonts are just a few of the ways that can help communicate the mood. Let's first talk about how to communicate the mood of our site with color. Color guides a person's eyes throughout your site. The use of contrasting colors can draw attention to specific content. The color choice is directly related to the mood of your site. Do you want a serious site? Then maybe you opt for darker colors. Do you want a more natural site? Subdued, more neutral shades would be fitting. When thinking about color choice, think about your goal and your audience. It's best to start with 2 or 3 colors. What 2 or 3 colors correspond to the goal and the mood of our site that we've identified as technical, clean, light, and friendly? We felt blue, pink, and white translated to a light, friendly, clean, and technical website that's about women who have impacted space. We spoke earlier about contrasting colors and their impact on a site. High contrast can be used to draw attention to parts of the site. Mid and low contrast are good for creating an overall visual guide. It's important to keep contrast in mind when creating content for people to read. Now it's your turn. Think of your topic, your goal, and your mood, and choose 2 to 3 colors of your website to reflect your mood. The second way we can communicate the mood of our site is through fonts. There are 3 general categories of fonts. The first is Serif Font. Serif fonts have these little projections that are referred to as feet. Serif fonts are the oldest type of letter form and date back to early printing days. They're based on human calligraphy forms. Serif fonts are known for having a more formal appearance. The second category of fonts is a sans serif font. Sans serif fonts don't have feet. The word sans is French for without, so sans serif means without serifs. Sans serif fonts tend to be more neutral in appearance, like Helvetica, or they can be geometric, like Futura. Sans serifs are newer types of letter forms and can be playful or serious. Display faces are the third category of fonts. They're designed to be large, so they're usually best used for large headlines, not for body copy, since they're difficult to read at smaller sizes. Display faces are a great way to add personality to your site. A good rule of thumb when choosing display faces is less is more. You don't want to choose more than 2 or 3 different display faces, or else you could run the risk of muddling the look of your site. On our site, we use this futuristic font and our color palette to communicate the mood of our site: technical, clean, light, and friendly. Beyond font choice, there are other considerations when working with type. Remember the mood you're going for when you're picking out your fonts. For example, the excerpts from the New York Times. The New York Times, a reputable, long-standing newspaper, uses a serif font, which, as we mentioned, is much more formal. A more formal font is fitting for a newspaper. It makes for a trustworthy looking news source. Let's see what happens to the mood of the New York Times if we change the font. We change the font to Papyrus, and you can see it looks less formal, and as a result, less trustworthy. Words are how you deliver the bulk of your message, so making sure people can read it is so important. Like line length. This is often overlooked, considering when creating a readable chunk of text. This example here shows lines that are too long for the size of the font. Your eyes will get tired when trying to read this. On the other hand, this example shows a line length that's too short. Again, your eyes will get tired from frequently moving to a new line. In this example, the line length is just right. Nice and easy for your eyes to scan. Now it's time for you to choose a font. Got your font picked out? Awesome. Defining page layout is also part of design. Page layout is helpful when organizing your content. What do you want people to see first on your page? What's the most important content on your site? Page layout helps to address these things. Here's how we laid out our website. We used a large image under the site name to immediately establish the topic of our site. The middle of our site is taken up with the content that communicates our goal, to inspire interest in NASA. And the bottom third of our website also addresses our goal. We share some women who have impacted space exploration. Now it's your turn to pick a layout.
To help you get started building your website, we've created some starter templates to use. These starter templates will have the layout of a website already marked up with some basic styles. Visit the following link to decide which starter template will work for your content and design. For our NASA site, we chose a right sidebar template. Click the template you want to use to open the CodePen editor. In the top of the editor, click the button that says Fork. This will save a copy of the pen to your CodePen account. Click the Settings tab to update your pen's name and description. When you are finished, save your pen. Now, let's double-click on the HTML header to expand the pane and explore what's going on in the template. Much of this HTML should already look familiar to you, but you might notice some new attributes on the HTML elements. We'll learn more about what the class and ID attributes mean in the CSS section. But for now, let's use their values as descriptions for how to plug your content into the template. For instance, at the very top of our content, we have an H1 tag with the text, NASA Astronauts. We want this content to be our site title, so let's copy our text and place it in the H1 tag labeled Site Title in the template. Use the class and ID values as clues to where you can plug the rest of the content into the template. The main body of your text will live in the Site Content section. If you choose a template with a sidebar, you might have content that you paste into the sidebar section. Take some time to move your content into the template of your choosing before moving on to the CSS section.